You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Reign After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Reign After Show.
Make up a dance to. You gotta let it play because it really doesn't get into it for a little bit.
Yeah, it's just good.
There we go. We're going. Oh yeah. Let it play. Long may the sun reign. Hey everybody, we are here again doing an after show for your favorite show, Reign. This is the mid-season finale, sad face, epic, called Fated. So we're kind of exhausted after this episode, but in such a good way because it was such an awesome episode. But I am your host, Keetin Marchi. I have the lovely Fahnia Thomas here.
I feel like I should be. We're Hoda. We just made a comment earlier. We're Kathleen and Hoda tonight, and we got Phil. Still
we got
too,
Phil. Boy in the house. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
He was so worried about Kenna this whole episode. He was like, I need to start a new hashtag. Hashtag save Kenna. Or don't kill Kenna.
Don't kill Kenna. Hashtag.
It was Save Kenna.
Save Kenna, yeah.
And luckily, or unfortunately, we did. I mean, if someone had to go, I'm okay with it.
I'm really, okay, because we're kind of jumping like right into who died, but I wore my Ailey braid today, not even realizing
Well, you
that,
don't have to say why yet, as of yet.
yeah. But I was like wearing my Ailey braid. I was, like,
That's what a
right
coincidence.
here. Yeah.
You have to show, like, yeah, to the
You
side.
see it? Right here? I worked very hard on this braid. Okay, headphones back on.
And I have some drink in my cup in honor of the deceased.
Oh, God.
I don't. It's just some water with some floaties in it.
Well, even though this episode ended on kind of a crazy, kind of sad note, it started on a very happy note.
It did. It started with some smashing.
Yeah,
Like
some smushing. I don't know, what does Snooki call it?
Smushing.
Smushing.
But I knew tonight's episode had to kind of be bad, and we kind of predicted this, where everything was so great, you know. And if there was any question of whether or not they did it, it can be put to, pardon the pun, to bed, because as he said, I hope you're pregnant.
Like, who says that? I'm sorry, I don't know. That was awkward.
That's what they say in the Renaissance era. There's nobody out here saying that today. Like, yeah, baby, I hope you're pregnant.
I hope I knocked you up.
Like,
I want to be your baby daddy.
that doesn't happen anymore. But yes, she was penetrated. There was questions about that last week.
Are we allowed to say that?
We said it like 20 times.
Hold a woman.
But we still don't know if Kenna was penetrated. We just know that she was hurt.
Do you know, I realized what happened to Kenna because they kind of replayed it in the beginning of this episode. She was kicked. She was thrown on the ground and the guy kicked her in the gut, it looked like. So she's obviously dealing with some major bruising.
Right.
I don't think she was penetrated.
I'll take that over rape. I'll take a kick over rape any day.
Yeah, I don't think that little man penetrated her. Thank God. So the penetration did happen with Mary and Francis, and you know, it was almost like they jumped the gun on the sleeping together, because literally that next morning they were woken up by a man announcing to Francis that a cardinal is here from the Vatican that wants to see you in the throne room. So Francis very quickly has to put some clothes on and rush out to the throne room, where we find out that that England's Queen Mary Tudor, who some people might know her as Bloody Mary,
Right.
She is close to death because she was very sickly at the end of her reign, and when she dies, that the throne, it will be open, and the at least who the Vatican is considering is a legitimate heir is Mary,
Right.
because she is Catholic compared to Elizabeth I, who is Protestant, who the Pope does not recognize as queen because she is technically a bastard, because the Pope did not recognize Henry VIII's marriage to Mary, not Mary. No, it's oh my gosh, I was doing so well.
You were
I
on a
was
roll.
doing so well. Oh my god. Oh, and Boleyn. Anne
The
Boleyn.
Boleyn twins.
The Boleyn, yes.
Yeah, well, the sisters.
Yes.
not twins.
So does not recognize that marriage. Thus, Queen Elizabeth cannot have the throne, but she has a lot of followers. But King Henry's father, I mean not King Henry, King Henry himself,
Correct.
is kind of like pro Mary. Let's
What I
get
like about
married.
this, what I like about this, it's the perfect storm of everything, right? You know, we've had kind of Kenna, and we've had the king, and the king's entered into the plot line in general, but this is just a direct like, hey, we got to do this, and I love later as the queen says, his fondness for people is overshadowed by his fondness for power, and obviously it's evident here, and so Francis quickly becomes the #1 son, and I love that aspect of it, and how also, again, here you have Kenna, who's supposed to be, on Mary's side, and yet she's not, or at least, at the very least, her lines are shady.
They're extremely blurred, and they're blurred by a man.
Blurred lines, I know you want me. So, I mean, happy go day, continues happiness. Like, they're frolicking in the woods, and how cute was
He
that?
gets on his knee, he proposes, they're like, it's all about love, it's birds chirping, but it's never the case when it comes to these two.
They never let happiness happen for too long.
No, and like they said in the end of the movie, love is irrelevant for people like them. It just doesn't happen. So
The
as
end of
much
the
as-
movie? You said the end of the movie.
Did I see the movie?
Yeah.
It felt like a movie.
It was really
It was
epic.
so intense and dramatic and suspenseful, and there was passion. And I saw Clarissa at the back of her head. It was a lot for me. I'm very team Clarissa. So
I don't know if I'm Team Clarissa anyway, but that
I just love me a ghost. Like I
she's
love
not a
me
ghost, obviously.
Well, not anymore. She's a human, but she was like the ghost type character lurking.
We'll get into Clarissa soon. But so talking about legitimizing and all that stuff, because obviously they're realizing that the Pope is not going to recognize Elizabeth as the next Queen of England, then Diane all of a sudden is like, oh crap. Well, then that means all this work I've been doing, like, writing letters to people at the Vatican to try to legitimize Bash is all going to, just go to hell, because he's not going to legitimize Bash if he's trying not to legitimize Mary right now.
And how perfect
not Mary, Elizabeth.
How perfect is it that Kenna coming in to get the news when it's not even important anymore. It's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
She almost died, but just slipped out of her fingers because Kenna looks so much like the younger version of Diana.
Oh, gosh.
And she gets the juice. I mean, let Catherine tell it, and she told it, beaten up and all. Like,
I like these aspects of it because obviously I like the politics, but what I think obviously is working for the CW audience is that although there's a lot of politics involved, it directly affects all of our players in a major way. It doesn't just affect one person and everyone kind of is on the periphery of like, oh, well, that's nice. It directly, and so again, this is now an opportunity for Kenna in some sort of way, and as the Queen points out, you're such a child. You don't even know really what to do with this information. You just think that it's good, and obviously now in the right hands, it can be put to use.
Or the wrong hands.
But the irony is, well, because obviously she was going to kill her because of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, because obviously by kind of bringing that information to the Queen, I think it told the Queen that, obviously Kenna's, Kenna doesn't work for anybody but Henry, but the King.
Right.
And Kenna will, as Catherine pointed out to Diane, Kenna will do anything for Henry.
Anything.
And
that's her
she's
stupidity.
stupid. She's dumb.
And yeah, I liked last week, remember the Queen's quote, a secret is only good if one person knows it. And, while Diane made no secret, obviously that confrontation, which we'll talk about, I like it because, in the end, Diane, she has to do this because it could cost her a life. and so she will keep that secret. If threatened, people will keep secrets.
Well, and it's
Yeah, they
funny
will.
that Kenna even jumped on this because we saw that scene with her and the king earlier in the episode where the king, basically tells her, Diane's not going anywhere. But if, you just need to get used to it. I'll still protect you. You'll still be in my bed.
Right.
But if you ask me about Diane one more time, you'll be gone.
And I choose her. He dead out said, I choose her. She is the one. So get on board or deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she thought in her young, immature way that this would be something that would realign them together, that maybe he would choose her. But that just goes with being ignorant and young and not knowing what's going on.
And that's the thing. He just told her he would not choose her. And then she goes and does this.
It's just like back with the last episode where it was like she was complaining about the initials and like why does she keep going in constantly all the time? Just let me be easy. She's supposed to be a mistress. It's supposed to be like an escape and a relaxation and not a stressor.
Well, that's it's interesting to know the queen was like, how do you put up with, he's gone back and forth so many times. And again, he just, I guess, whatever his fondness is for these people, at least, Diane versus Kenna, again, he's gone back and forth from it. He's never given us an indication that he's just going to choose one or the other.
Right. That's
and, the fact that he's, even today, what the irony is, even though he said to her that, hey, today I choose Diane, tomorrow it could be, I choose you.
The saddest thing is it's never I choose Catherine.
But Catherine doesn't want it. She said he's not up humping on me in public. I don't think they have sex at all. Like, I think that's like done.
Sebastian,
Yeah, she bore him a son, and I think it's
now
done.
it's done. And that's it. Like,
She's just a figurehead.
they're over it. And
he would have definitely said, I hope you're pregnant because I don't want to do that again.
I am pro Queen Catherine. I think even though we love to hate her and she's kind of crazy, I think she's one of the most interesting people on this show. And I loved how Catherine heavy this episode was. The woman who plays her, I don't have her name right now, but I can't think of it. But she is such a good actress. I just love her. I just love her.
She's intelligent and she's smart. She's crafty, Catherine, for a reason.
And she's beautiful. Like, she's
pretty.
really, really... All the people on this frickin' show are just gorgeous.
And you don't get to be a queen without being somewhat smart and intelligent and knowing how to use certain information and devices for your betterment.
And she's a Medici, so that family's known for being crafty even throughout history. They're very wealthy for a reason.
And she carries that just in her natural movements without even speaking. She just does it. And her scenes, and I know we'll talk about her and Mary, but when they're on screen, it's like lightning.
It's like a movie.
So we do have the Queen Catherine with this information from Kenna basically confronts Diane, and I also loved that scene and those two actresses together when she busts into the bedchamber after Henry's had his way with Diane.
I mean, can we take a moment and talk about him strutting down the castle hallways in his robe, going to get a sandwich after he just did the deed? Like,
hey, sandwich for her. Sandwich for her.
At least he didn't say, bitch, make me a sandwich and send her.
But instead, he's just gloating in front of the queen and everyone else. Like,
He's been doing it for years, though.
Good God almighty. I mean, okay.
But that was a very, very... I didn't realize the CW showed, like, sex scenes that were that kind of heated and long.
Not even on Gossip Girl do I remember that.
That was almost Game of Thrones. I mean, we didn't see any nakedness, but I mean, we saw back, but that was about it.
She was on top. That was a lot.
There was a lot.
Yeah.
That's why Reign is on at 9 p.m. But yeah, they're pushing the boundaries on this show.
I love it.
With
Don't
blood,
stop.
with sex.
Don't stop.
Yeah. That's what Mary said last week.
I digress. We digress.
But yeah, so Catherine goes in. She confronts Diane. Basically says, "I have these conditions. If you want me not to, get you killed by Henry, basically.
Right, for treason.
Yeah, you need to leave, not say anything, just peace out, never return, go into hiding, whatever. And before you go, kill Kenna, because I'm tired of having blood on my hands. It's getting old."
Like on your way out, take care of this. Put this on your to-do list. Because
this is the poison I made to try to kill Mary, but can you use it on Kenna? Thanks.
She's crafty. She is a crafty lady.
Did you guys did you guys think Diane would? Did you think when that whole scene kind of played out?
Yes, I did.
You thought Kenna was dead?
Oh, I thought you were going to say, did I think that Diane would carry out the deed? I did.
Oh, you did. That's
thought
what I
she
mean.
would.
Yeah.
I thought she would.
As the goblet was getting passed around, I was like, oh, thank God my hashtags worked. I was going to stay alive. But then I also did, it also became tough because I was like, okay, who is it going to end up with? Because someone is obviously going to die. Yeah. And then in those moments, I was like, okay, this also makes Diane a murderer, which, by the way, wouldn't have been unlike her because, as even Bash pointed out, like, you're committing treason, and she was willing to go behind people's backs. And last episode, I mean, how many people could have died just to put Sebastian as the legitimate son? So could she have killed Kenna? It wouldn't have been too far from the truth.
Not at all.
Had she done it.
Not at all. And I the whole, like, Russian roulette with the teacup was intense. Like, you guys were screaming. I was just quiet. Like, I didn't know how to react. I was like, just get it over with. Let me see what happens. And of course, you can't have a mid-season finale without a death or a marriage or something. So we knew, obviously, going in that something major was going to happen. I just didn't know it was going to be like this. And
that it would be this bloody, because so we see them in that scene at Kenna's bed. They even have the lines of, it smells like a new herb. And like they had made the same comment when they smelt the poison. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, they're just setting this up and they're passing the cup around. And then we see that Ailey is the one who ends up with it. And right kind of during that scene, I had a feeling, I was like, Ailey's gone. Like, it makes sense that they haven't really developed her character at all throughout this first half of the season. Yeah, I mean, the only significant thing she's done is that deal she made with Catherine to like kind of be Mary's kind of undercover double agent. But since then, we really haven't seen anything with Ailey. Well,
in today, she kind of, what was nice is that she kind of stood for the prophecies, right? She went back to, he told me I would never go home. And that was obviously the last thing that she kind of mentions to Mary and things like that. So it was nice, although she wasn't as developed as the other girls, she was developed in that sense where she stood for that, Nostradamus being truthful. And obviously that scared, as she says to him, you are the devil.
Do you know what I did? This is a little bit of a tangent, but I did just realize that's Nostradamus's voice doing the intro. Oh yeah, that did not click in my head until today. I don't know if anybody else.
I didn't catch that. Did you, Phil?
I did not.
Yeah,
but it makes sense, and obviously maybe it's a little bit telling that because he says at the end of that intro, "Long may she reign." So Nostradamus is on Mary's side. Really?
I think he's on the side of what he sees. He's on whichever permission he sees. That's what it is.
And yeah, I mean, he said in whatever episode it was, I'm here for the truth, which sometimes in the core of kings and things like that is not the right thing to have, but it's the truth.
I mean, and we even saw him because we did see that when this death happens, there is some poison, but it's a push down the stairs.
I don't think it's not poison because remember the cat. I was looking at the cat. I was confused at the time because the cat drank it, and Kenna's kind of looking at this as well.
Right.
And the cat didn't die, or it wasn't wavering in any sense, and so it was like, okay, was it poisoned? I mean, she clearly died because she was pushed.
So how does the fingers turn black?
Yeah.
When she was laying on the bed and Nostradamus was talking to Clarissa, and he was like saying, this is my poison, not Catherine's, the fingers are black. How does that happen?
No, he said it's neither his nor Catherine's. And like, so she must have mixed it herself. Like, that's what he said did you go into like his, I guess.
Oh, I thought he was saying, did you go in my cabinet and get my poison out?
I think she made her own. And I think it works obviously in a different way, and maybe it just doesn't kill cats.
Maybe, but I mean, it was that push down the stairs that killed her. I mean, really, and how much I don't know which one of you said, but some one of you guys were like, a lot of blood is
a lot of blood
chilling in that. They're loving the blood in Reign,
and I'm loving Clarissa for having Mary's back. I mean, right or wrong, she's like because.
Okay, can you call that having her back?
Yes.
No, it's her being. No, she's getting like scary friend. Like she's becoming like this is like she's becoming super clingy. Where she doesn't even. It's like she doesn't want her best friend to have a boyfriend because if her best friend has a boyfriend, that means her best friend won't hang out with her anymore, and she has this connection.
God.
That's what she's going crazy. Clarissa's going cray.
Here's the thing: anytime you get into prophecies and perhaps time travel and all these different things and visions, okay, right? She did it because she had to prove that the prophecy was right to marry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but then had you not done that, you know what I mean? It just becomes a causality thing. Like, okay, well, had you not caused that, would the other thing come to fruition because of these things?
So like the butterfly effect or
Exactly.
something. Okay.
I don't like that movie. It makes me I hate that movie.
It's a concept also. It doesn't have to
I
be a
know,
movie.
but I'm just saying. Ashton Kutcher, man, that was him in his heyday, but I don't like that movie. It makes me too much to think about. But I mean, I thought it was very interesting that we saw Clarissa interact with somebody other than Mary in this episode with Nostradamus. Like she's like talking to him, and it's
someone else talked to her in the dungeon once. Was that Nostradamus when she was doing the X's and they were cleaning them off?
I forget.
Yeah, she was marking the X's with the red, and they were like,
"Oh, you're talking about episode 2, I believe, is
yes.
it? Yeah."
And like they're like, you're at it again. So she's made human contact with one other person, in addition to Mary and Nostradamus.
But obviously, she has history with Nostradamus. Like he knows her. Like he and to the point where he, I don't know, like he's like the punishment. Like she's gonna punish her. So what? Like who is Clarissa? Like is she like another bastard child? Like that's being that they tried to get rid of, but Nostradamus didn't want her to die, so he kind of has been raising her in secret.
Whose bastard child would she be? Like the king's? And
the king.
Catherine or Diane?
I don't know, but like who is Clarissa?
I thought we were gonna see her face. I did so
too.
excited, like show me your face, but it was just a bald spot in the back of her head.
Yeah, we did see some nasty hair.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
It was gross.
Yeah. And then he took her in the back, and I was like, "Oh my God, he's gonna kill her! Like, what's gonna happen?"
Yeah, I don't think seeing all the visions that he's seen, I don't think he wants to be responsible for it in the real world, himself.
Yeah.
So, but I think he is gonna somehow severely punish her.
I can't take it.
I just that was such a cool scene, and like, and then like he's like forcing her face to look at Ailey, but.
And she's a victim. She thinks that she's fate's victim. So maybe she was a bastard of some sort and she's been banished because she considers herself to be a victim. So something happened to her. And I hope we get to see that come January 23rd. I want to see more Clarissa. I want to know her backstory.
I do want to know Clarissa.
I'm ready. It's been too long.
Very much so. And I want... I just feel really bad that like she's now going after Mary's friends. Like, it's scary. It's a little scary to me.
Yeah.
But so to kind of like round this episode out is, the whole episode does follow the prophecy, which we've all been talking about, that, this marriage that the king is now trying to fast forward to, have Mary kind of legitimize as England's, heir and to become the Queen of England, and thus France gets England. It makes this prophecy that Nostradamus told Catherine that Mary's going to lead to your son's death. It's going to happen sooner. And we see a lot of flashbacks throughout the episode of Nostradamus standing there during these big scenes and kind of like seeing Francis falling.
Right.
But then at that last scene...
He took to a knee.
He did.
But
he wasn't...
So we don't know. And where was Nostradamus last episode when... the kingdom was seized? Like, he didn't see that? That would have been some vital information.
He doesn't choose what he sees.
Oh,
he doesn't choose what
okay.
he sees. And he can,
again,
he doesn't have dates, right? As he says to Mary, he seemed a little older than he is now. Oh. It's not like on February 22nd, he dies. Right. To me, what was I going to say? One of the more interesting parts about it, too, was kind of how Sebastian was intertwined in this prophecy. Mm-hmm. Or not in the prophecy specifically, but in terms of how it affected him, and he had to leave because of all of this news, of the wedding. Which
is a perfect segue to them running off together.
Well, we'll hold off on that.
Yeah.
Because I have so much to say about that.
So, we get this prophecy, and, Kenna knows, Queen Catherine knows, Nostradamus knows, obviously Clarissa knows this prophecy.
Right.
And then Queen Catherine, I mean, Nostradamus is like, don't kill Mary, you stupid. Like, they'll know, and then they'll kill you, which, thank gosh, Nostradamus can talk some sense into Queen Catherine, because not Mary and many other people can. But instead, tell Mary, because if you tell Mary, like, her love for Francis, she will want to save him. And at first, she doesn't believe her. She does not believe her at all.
And who can blame her? Because she's been the one that's trying to get her out of the castle from day one.
Oh, yeah.
So.
But it's true. But, you know, even, that was a great scene because obviously, you know, at the very least, what Queen Mary, or what Queen wanted was the fact that Mary would be questioning herself. And it got her to do that because, like, you know, hey, he's proven himself right in the past, right? And so she goes off on that, and she goes on this mini journey, eventually leading her to Sebastian, and, you know, the dragon will fight the lion and the poppies.
How crazy was that? Because we thought we had that figured out, right?
And so did she.
Yeah. But
Dun, dun, dun.
then we see Sebastian reveal his sword. Not that sword, ladies. But that's for a later episode. Come back in 2014. I'm sure we'll get some of that. But
I wasn't even thinking that, but
I'm sorry. That's exactly what
we see, he pulls out his sword, which has the lion on the handle.
which he chose for himself.
Because as a bastard, you can pick whatever symbol you want.
What symbol would you guys pick?
I'm not a bastard.
Okay. What symbol, just in make-believe Rain Land, said, Phil, what symbol would you pick?
I would pick a lion just because it's, you know, it always means royalty.
I'd pick like a unicorn. Because I'm a unicorn.
Or a scorpion.
I think I'd pick a dragon because I love Khaleesi, and she's the queen of dragons.
You and I will fight in a field of poppies later.
Oh, crap, and the dragon loses. What?
You know what I thought was interesting, just kind of slight side tangent, but about prophecies nonetheless. Greer, right? She says, you know, I was supposed to fall in love with a man with the
white
mark. And she's like, and clearly that hasn't happened. So it's funny how, in a sense, that they need to know about these prophecies in order to gain affirmation. So, right, if she knew that he was the one with the white mark, then she'd be like, oh, I am in love with him. You know what I mean?
Right.
But now she's still kind of quiet. I think that's kind of fun. That's funny to me of these. Whenever prophecy enters into any story, it amuses me.
But I think even if Greer, like, knew, like, he had, like, the flower mark on his face, I don't think she'd admit that she was in love with him. She's still so caught up in the fact that, like, he's not, you know, of noble or of wealthy birth. And so I don't think she'd ever admit that she was in love with him. I think poor PETA. I don't know why I want to call him PETA, but
I like how Lola, the nickname we gave for them last week.
Yeah.
Leaf?
Please.
It's Leaf. He's
Yeah.
Leaf, right? That's
Yes.
his name.
I like how Lola, the voice of reason, was like, well, where have you been? You've been gone. Have you not fallen in love? You know, she's questioning it like, well,
Who have you fallen in love with?
right. So Lola always comes through with the, you know, questions. When she was like, I'm gonna marry Francis, she's like, are you sure about that? Wait a minute.
Well, and it's weird to me that Lola, I wonder if one of the reasons Lola is so strongly, like, questioning marrying Francis is because she obviously was the one who really saw that Mary and Bash have something.
I just think she's the thinker of the clique, you know, and when it was time for her to leave, it was like, no, she can do better. We can't go with you. She can do better by herself. I think she's just the one that has, like, the common sense at top of mind.
She doesn't make the rash decisions.
Exactly. That's her role. That's her, like, you know, that's the girl you go to when you want, like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Well, so to get back to the crazy prophecy. So then Mary finds out. At first she doesn't believe. She, you know, all of her girlfriends are like, I don't believe this is not true. Then Ailey dies in Mary's arms. And then she's yelling at Nostradamus, "You're the devil! You're the devil!" And then she very, very quickly says, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. He gots to go.
I like their right before that, they had their great conversation. And for the first time, right, they've been kind of, Frances and Mary have been colliding in this world of being 100% honest with each other and in the most direct ways, right? And what I've loved about the show is that most, they seem to be very direct. However, this was one of those moments where Mary was being subtle. And she wasn't as direct as she was. Like, hey, obviously, she was hiding the truth. And so I like that aspect of it because obviously it comes back into play later on when she tells him, hey, I said I was unsure about this. I was honest with you. And he's like, I don't believe that, which I thought was good. And then her switch to the to what she said to him after of like, hey, I remembered everything you've said and you cannot love someone and all this. I thought that was brilliant.
It was good. But I think when Frances said, when Mary was like, I don't want any more people to die for me. And he said, that is our fate as rulers. People are going to die for you.
Yeah.
That's true. So her running so that he doesn't die, that's only going to be one person. I mean, I would run for my lover too.
Well, and it was very strange that she went and announced it because I felt at first that she was going to like sneak away.
Me
That
too.
she wasn't going to. She like goes into the throne room and announced it, and poor Frances is like, "What the hell is happening?"
But here's the thing: had she not done that, then here's the thing: at the end of the day, she still has to stand strong by her country.
Yeah.
And in the end, I think it still could be a good move for Scotland. You know what I mean? If she ultimately does not want to be the ruler of England, and that's bad, then in some sense she was correct.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
that last conversation with Frances, her kind of definitely felt she definitely just put him in his place and said, you know what, like you're being a hypocrite. Like I'm just listening to what you told me, which what he said, and I think we all agreed with him at the beginning, even when he said that to her earlier in the season, that yes, he's that's true, that's fact. They've been very careless lately, like they've been like in this little honeymoon mode where royals really can't have that. Like they're running countries.
It's time to get off cloud 9.
Yeah, come back down to reality, Mary.
And it hit them.
Hard.
And she runs to the stable to get on her horse.
When the problem there was, okay, it could have been okay. Yeah, what would have worked, at least for Francis, he would have been very upset, but at least he could buy the excuse that she was giving him, and he could have believed it. Right? At first he didn't, but then she kind of convinced him. And then to see her and Sebastian riding off almost to the tune of Hall & Oates, it's like he was just crushed. You didn't know, like this.
It was like a dagger.
It was because, okay, we've been talking about what can drive Sebastian and Francis up totally apart.
It starts
The
with an M,
notion
ends
that-
with a Y.
Yeah, the notion that this is why she's leaving me is not because of all of this. It's because of him. Oh my effing.
It's always matters of the heart.
Well, speaking of this like kind of funny song and how that song that I think did go into them riding off together, that started when Mary and Frances were having that very serious conversation. It was almost like a happy-go-lucky song, and I was like, that seems really odd during the scene.
It would have been. I would have liked it had they just left and Frances wasn't there. Like Mary, like like that's heartbreaking.
But
It's
you
just
have to
shameful.
have that.
You have to have that. Come on, it's a mid-season finale. You
Just
have to have that
because-
cliffhanger.
Remember, he always has his love leave him.
It's true, and how many times has been Sebastian forewarned, and especially tonight by Diane, like you have to stay away.
Oh gosh, I just felt so bad for Francis. Like,
I
poor guy.
honestly, it reminded me of that scene in it was kind of the opposite of that scene, but it kind of reminded me of this. And if you guys have ever seen Ever After,
yes,
and like they always wave at whoever's leaving the house. They wave until they get to the end of the driveway or something. And in Ever After, her father falls off the horse and has a heart attack. I thought in this case, Francis, when he fell to his knees, I'm like, he's dying. Like prophecy's not true. I was like, it's done.
it's happening now.
That's what I thought. I went straight to that, but thank goodness he didn't die.
Question: as an audience reaction, though, you guys have been rooting Sebastian and Mary to right? So how do you guys feel now that, like, okay, it's coming, it's kind of coming to fruition, but ultimately, look at what it's doing to poor Francis.
It's like that. It's like your celebrity crush. Like when you see them, like you have this idea of them, and then when like they're talking to you and you're in your face, you're like, oh God, no. I want the forbidden like passion and love to be there. I like that. I don't want it to actually happen.
I've never really. Did I say I really wanted her to be with Sebastian?
You did.
Did I?
I wish I could cut to right now just a montage of like, I want Sebastian and Mary.
No, okay, I want Sebastian. Mary can have Francis. I think that's how I feel about it.
The days when Francis was being a prick and a douchebag, yeah, we were like totally team Sebastian and Mary.
Yeah.
But it's like the fantasy. It's the forbidden fantasy. Leave it up there on the shelf.
And Sebastian's just very, very sexy.
Those eyes.
He's a lot sexier than Francis. I don't know. That's just how I feel. Team Sebastian. But I was okay with. I think Mary and Francis are good for each other. I don't think Sebastian's good for Mary.
No, he's like the bad boy that's gonna break her heart. She's a queen.
He can't handle a queen.
No,
He
won't happen.
cannot handle a queen. Well, I think that about wraps up the episode. Do you have anything else you wanna get into, Phil, before we move to predictions?
Not really.
Not really. You good?
I'm
You
good.
need more music?
I can play any music you
And
want.
now, your AfterBuzz
I know I'm
TV
scared. I can't
predictions.
every week. I want a new song. Who wants to go first? Do you know who we didn't see this episode?
Pray
Who
tell.
we made a bet about last week?
Oh, the Hoa.
The Hoa.
We didn't see the Hoa.
We didn't see the Hoa at all. It does not confirm that she is dead or alive.
I believe she's forgotten.
She's forgotten and not missed.
No, but like, who knows? I mean, now that Mary's gone, maybe she's gonna creep out from, out of the shadows. Who knows?
Hopefully.
Hey,
Clarissa-
I didn't leave you. I always wanted her to go.
Yes, you did. You left the door. So this is kind of like reaching far, but like because I feel really odd.
Just say it.
Okay, I felt it was so odd that one of the first lines of this episode was Francis telling Mary, "I hope you're pregnant," and that it was so apparent that they have been like really, really getting it on since they first got it on.
Okay, but hold on. Remember, Nostradamus said you will remain childless and father, husbandless, whatever he said.
He'll be cold to the touch, and you'll be childless.
Yeah.
Oh, he said that to her?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I think this is okay. Well, that's okay. It doesn't mess with my prediction.
Totally
Because
does.
I think no, it does not. You don't even know what it is. Okay, I think that Mary is going to, while she's in the woods, going to realize that she is pregnant, because I think she's going to be getting very, very sick and blah blah blah. And then I think when they're gonna come bring her back to the castle at some point, and then she's going to know that she's pregnant, but then she's gonna have a miscarriage.
Pregnant with Sebastian's baby.
No. Francis's baby, and then Francis is gonna blame Sebastian for killing the heir to the throne.
Oh, I was trying to help you out with the prediction there. Like, it could work if it was Sebastian's baby.
Okay, here's the question. She comes back very fast, right? She's pretty much, as soon as we cut to the preview, she's back at the castle. Yeah. So does Francis send an army after them? Gets her back, then she's almost like she's in prison, so to speak, or whatever you want to call it. And obviously, especially now with the announcement, everything's kind of ruined. And so now we got to piece it together. And basically by force, Francis and Henry are in alliance of we have to make this happen. You got to marry her.
Well, and
to get England.
And this is the other thing. She's no virgin queen anymore.
Oh, she's spoiled.
Nobody got to know.
But people do know. I don't think
true.
it was much of a secret.
The guy knows. The guy, remember, he knocked on the door.
Yeah, and I don't think it's much of a secret in the castle amongst the staff. And people talk. I don't think it's much of a secret that Mary and Francis smashed.
Because she made a comment, or he said something who cares if they're talking about it, the maids or whoever are talking about it.
So that's, I think, gonna come back to haunt her.
You think?
I do.
Anything can happen. We have so much long to wait for. I have no prediction. I just want to hurry up and get to January 23rd.
Phil, do you have anything?
Yeah.
You gotta sing a song about Kenna.
Why couldn't they just remain the same? They had love. Let's see. That's what I leave you with.
This is my lighter.
Oh, wait, you can do the cell phone.
Saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills.
I mean, what a great first 8 episodes.
Awesome.
This show has exceeded my expectations on so many levels, and I'm so happy that the ratings have gone up and people have caught on to how awesome the show is and that it's going to be back.
To borrow one of my favorite AfterBuzz phrases from some of the hosts, I can't. It's just so good. I can't. I'm mad at this. Coming January 23rd? Really? I can't.
Phil's gonna have he's just gonna rewatch all the episodes over the spring.
I might. I mean, it's
I
good.
might too. It is
good
really
stuff.
good. And you can catch all the episodes if you're not caught up or you missed anything or you want a great show to get into. Get into Reign. Go to CW.com and you can watch them all there.
And go to iTunes and watch us.
Yeah, watch us, rate us, comment.
Let us know.
Let us know your predictions, your hashtags, and
what we should do differently
Yeah.
next season. What you loved, what you didn't love.
let us know because we're here for you guys.
How are you guys gonna hold yourselves over to January 23rd? Maybe we should have like a side, like
Yeah, we should have just maybe a support group,
a Reign support.
a Reign support group while it's gone.
It's called Twitter.
That's right.
So tweet us, comment, rate our iTunes, download this podcast, you guys. We'll see you again on
in
January
2014.
23rd. Yeah, happy holidays and happy New Year.
Aw. I'm Fahnia Thomas, and you guys can find me on
yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fahnia Thomas. That's FAHNIATHOMAS.
And I'm Keetin Marchi, and you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KeetinM33. Thanks for watching, guys. Oh, Phil, where can we find you?
AfterBuzz
in the
TV.
He's so
Facebook,
elusive.
Twitter, Instagram.
You're so elusive. Where can Kenna find you?
AfterBuzz TV.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.